we're going to go into it.
Yep, semi-final number 1 or 2, however you want to call it, of the ESOC Weekend Tours, brought to you by, of course, ESOC. Mitoe versus Conquerer999. Game number 1 in best of 3. Mitoe has decided to go with Dutch and Conqueror999 has decided to go with Portuguese. Hey Doc, you're breaking up.
How's it going? Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty cool game. Conqueror is probably one of the best players in terms of both treaty and supremacy skill combined. I know just yesterday he actually won that.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday he won the
Um,
time to treaty tournament against Lucas. Okay, so talking about the map here, I think this map is somewhat Portuguese favored because you have 4 trading posts where you can easily advance trading post.
it's definitely true. I think I'm a big fan of putting Portuguese on this map because of that 8 advanced trading post. They are a civ that naturally just benefits from having a lot of trading posts. Dutch gets a little bit of bonus out of trading posts, but they usually only want to get 0 or 1 trading post. They're actually very, very good civ for no TP maps.
Yeah.
So I think the civ pick for Conqueror is a little bit stronger here. I
Okay.
said I know Mitoe is a very big Dutch fan, and he is actually starting with a trading post to get in. And I think that's a good decision on this map. I think 3 trading posts as an ATP civ, or not, that's actually going to be worthwhile. So stealing one of the trading posts away from Conqueror is a good start to this game.
Yeah, and we probably might see him getting another trading post in the transition as well. Uh, Maybe it is a good choice to deny Portuguese 3 trading posts and instead delay your bank slightly.
Really going to be the case. Looks like Mitoe is going to be picking up also a 75 wood treasure, so he's going to be in pretty good shape to get another trading post if he wants, or even to just get another bank with the 75 wood. Conqueror did steal one of his 30 gold treasures away, just right in base. So he's pretty happy with how the H1 is starting to play out.
Okay.
Got an opportunity for Mitoe to steal away this 60 food treasure from Conqueror.
Yeah, and he might just be able to steal that because it's very close, but I think
See?
might have got it.
Ah,
Yeah,
never mind. Yeah, Mitoe did pick it up. So yeah, he's having a great start right now.
yeah, exactly. 60, 75 wood and then 60 food. So he's going to have a bank earlier as well as probably age up without idling the down center. He has 16 villagers, so is he going to age up with 1 extra villager than the standard 15?
Looks like he is going to be aging with 16. So yeah, I exactly sure it might have just been how his resources worked out. I think he's perfectly comfortable doing so. Conqueror did
Okay.
send a shipment in one. It's about to be arriving in just a moment. I'm interested to know if he actually goes for that trading post ATP. Oh yeah, it is coming down. Intent to still go with a 3 TP ATP and maybe take that 4th one later on in Colonial.
Yeah. I mean, these trading posts have so much value on this map, so even for 3 trading posts, it might be a good idea to actually go with ATP.
I don't fault Conqueror for his decision here. I think it's perfectly fine to do that. He is being delayed a little bit. He's being distracted by this envoy right in the middle of the map.
Okay.
This envoy is not going to be able to win the fight against Conqueror, but it is going to distract him a little bit and possibly try to delay the trading post, or at least keep track of whether these are happening.
Okay, and he's going to use a villager to build the second trading post, and it looks like Macho is going to steal the second trading post.
But yeah,
Oh,
really good for him actually.
why does it shows red when actually Maito should be having this trading post? I think.
So because Conqueror hasn't seen that Mitoe has a trading post here, he's still allowed to build on that place. but then once he gets into line of sight, he'll see that there's no trading post available.
Okay. Do I
Yeah,
I think I accidentally activated a Conqueror's Field of View or something like that. Because this shouldn't be happening actually. I think.
that's okay to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So I do like Conqueror putting up a not a very forward, but like near the trading post. So this town center gives absolute control for Conqueror 999 against this trading post here, and along with ADP, which I mean, this is a very good defensive position because you have trade post firing as well and town center firing as well. So
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I think on this map, it's worth thinking about where the players place their second town center as Portuguese. The reason is that because this map is split down the middle with these cliffs, the decision to place their town center either on the left side of the map, as Conqueror's done, or on the right side,
yeah,
informs a little bit about their strategy. This
yeah.
right side would be a little bit more aggressive, protects a few more hunts, but then this left side is protecting a little bit of a more forward mine.
I think
Not as many hunts.
Yeah, I think I like putting it on the left side because it gives you this one hunt as well as this other hunt, and both the mines between them are still under your control. While if you put it on right, you just basically get two hunts and nothing else. So this is probably a better choice in my opinion.
It would have been interesting to see if, for example, he tried to put one right next to this mine, for instance,
Uh,
to
y-
be very aggressive. It
yeah,
informs a little bit about what he's going to be trying to do here.
that would be very aggressive. Yeah.
Came down with 3 musketeers so far. Didn't get a full batch out, but I don't think it's too much of a problem. And he is going to be going right for that trading post on the left side. I'm trying to put down some pressure on Mitoe right now. Mitoe is responding with 4 hussars, also not quite getting that fifth one out, but
Yeah.
he still had a very good, strong early game, and so he's doing just fine.
Uh, is Macho looking for some kind of H2 gameplay here because we can see barracks going down for him pretty early for a semi FF or a FF kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like at least in this case, Mitoe is committing to H2 for a little bit. Put down both the barracks and the stable. He is also actually shipping 700 food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a great understanding of Dutch builds, but I don't think that he's going to be going to H3. Because he doesn't have the resources really to do it.
Yeah, two villages going down for conquerors. So this is a huge setback here for Portuguese player because you do not have villager shipments to compensate for that, and you're slightly stretched on resources early on as Portuguese player because it takes time to get the things flowing from the second down center. So that's a really good catch for the Mito. And just a musketeer batch here. Good micro from Mito, not losing a single hussar or might just yeah, one hussar he has lost.
Yeah, that one hussar was going to go down to the town center fire, but still very good control from him, and he's done a lot against Conqueror so far. You're definitely right that it's very difficult for Portuguese to ramp up. They have this sort of quadratic scaling. That means that early on they're not that great, but then as they get better, or as the game progresses, they start to really ramp up.
Yeah, nice catch from Conqueror here. All the hussars are going to go down here.
Actually, very
And
strong from him. I didn't even realize there is a stable.
quick look at the decks. What do you think of the Dutch deck?
Let me take a look. I looked at Conqueror's deck briefly. Looks like Mito's deck is fairly standard. Interesting 1,000 food crate in there. That's not something that you see too often.
Yeah, and especially
I
on
suppose it's fine with Dutch, yeah.
a map like this, you really don't need 1,000 foot because you have so many hunts. It's just if you can secure them.
I would say that it's reasonable to put it in as Dutch. Although against Civ like Portuguese, I would say it's maybe not quite as necessary because Dutch is usually the defender in a lot of matchups, but against Portuguese, that's not really quite as true. First deck is, I would say, a pretty typical Portuguese deck. It's a little light on Age 4, which you'd often see in a lot of Portuguese decks, because there are a lot of really strong Portuguese Age 4 cards.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's pretty standard. It lets you play both Colonial and Fortress if you'd like, which he is doing here.
Yeah,
He has
and
that 1,000 food crate, but that's typical there.
Mitoe is going to age up right now. Has already started aging up, and Dictator is nowhere close to aging up. He still doesn't have the Stagecoach upgrade, so Mitoe's army is really going to scale once he reaches age 3, and he already has 5 banks. So
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good point. I think that Conqueror's army, this Musket Hussar composition, is a strong H2 composition, but it doesn't work too well against a skirmisher heavy composition, which Mitoe is going for. Right now, Conqueror's military advantage relies on the fact that Mitoe doesn't really have a lot of anti-cav. But once Mitoe's in H3 and is able to ship one shipment of Reuters and make a few of his own, battles are going to go in Mitoe's favor pretty heavily.
yeah. Might lose a few houses here, and he doesn't really have wood to remake them. So, and he also doesn't have a market, I think, or does he? He has a market.
Yeah, he's going to be needing to use that market to make a lot of houses very quickly. Important and pretty good for Conqueror to be taking down these houses right now. Because if he's preventing Mitoe from sending another unit shipment, or even just making some Reuters, then you can see he only got a batch of 2 Reuters out despite having the resources for it. Play Conqueror's ability to, or Mitoe's ability to get out anti-cav.
And that's the 9.
Cut out in the center, yeah.
So I think Mitoe should be able to stabilize here for the moment. He has enough.
Looks like Mitoe is stabilizing, or he's stable right now with these Reuters out. He can manage to kite away these musketeers and these crossbowmen for a while, and then the Reuters. Well, actually, there are a lot of us. Never mind.
And those riders just walking into the Conqueror 999's army. So this is huge actually here, because Conqueror 999 has got huge mass and Mitoe doesn't have anything. So if he loses this mass right now, it's a free pass to Conqueror into Mitoe's base.
For Mitoe in that battle, if
he
were positioned a little bit more
defensively,
I think he would have been okay.
I really don't like Dictator's position here. I mean, one shipment, Minutemen, and yeah, that's the Minutemen pop we're talking about.
Mitoe doing a great job with those villagers as well, keeping them right in the middle there. And actually, yeah, he managed to do very well in this fight. The army sizes are now for Conqueror, but I would, but that's purely in terms of the number of units. I think that Mitoe definitely has a better position right now.
Yeah, and let's not forget the fact that Mitoe also has H3 units, which are much stronger than Dictator's H2 units.
Yeah. Looks like Mitoe also bringing out a few envoys. Didn't quite get the timing on that one, but he was probably trying to get them on with the Minutemen in the main fight. I have no idea how long envoys take to train, so I wouldn't be able to make that timing either. But
it's probably the same as villagers, so yeah. The only good thing probably for Conqueror 999 at this point is that Mitoe was forced to send 7 Rioter shipment as well, which is not quite a good shipment. So, what do you think?
Yeah, his timing on that was pretty good. He shipped it right around the time that the fight was going really badly for him, so he had already planned to send it before before the disastrous fight in the middle happened for him. but it ended up working out very well for him. I don't think he would have held nearly as well without that shipment.
Real risky to put the down center here. I mean, if Mito sees that, then he can simply switch down before it even goes up.
I don't think that Mito is going to notice, but that is a good point.
Yeah. 5 Dragoons, 5 Cassidars, and 8 Cassidars have been shipped, so pretty much still in game. I would say Conqueror. It's not over, and it can still go any side. And I think Conqueror might be in a better position right now. What do you think?
I would have to disagree. I think that Mito is in a pretty good lead right now. The main reason for this, for me to say this, is because right now Mito is able to start shipping crates and unit upgrades, whereas Conqueror has this later H3, and he still needs to ship a lot of units right now. So you can see the last 3 shipments have all been units for Conqueror, and his next shipment I wouldn't be surprised if it were also one. And yeah, these falconets are showing that Mito is able to use that 1,000 coin very effectively, whereas Conqueror still needs to build up a massive Castador and Dragoon before he can really start making Portuguese organ guns.
Although I mean the organ guns, they are not really a great shipment because 2 Falcons are simply great, and Mito has 3 of them. So I'm not really sure how good 2 organ gun shipment might be for the Portuguese player here. I might probably like him making of artillery foundry and making a couple of culverins, or yeah, a couple of culverins, and then ship 2 organ
That
guns.
probably would be the right play. It looks like he might not be doing that. He did make 2 stables right now, and I think that he's just going to be trying to go for some sort of big hussar mass out of these double stable with a little bit of Castadors to support, which will also be, I think perfectly fine. Might has to be careful not to overcommit on these falconets and these skirmishers, and to make sure that he has enough of a Reuter mouse to be able to stop any sort of cavalry.
Okay. I do think that if Dictator decides to go on some kind of heavy Hussar mass, then he needs to get a nice flank and a nice spread with the Hussars of the Mito's army for them to be effective.
Very true. Looks like Mito's been just playing a bit slowly right now. He's just taking down some of these trading posts, which is a good decision. I think Conqueror did manage to take all 4 trading posts on the route earlier in the game, and now Mito's just taking them back right now as well, which now we see that is definitely a little bit too. Looks like, yeah, the Mamelukes are out. This could be a good opportunity for Conqueror. Looks like 2 falconets are down. Not a lot of Reuters left, but I think that they may be enough to push through.
10 Hussars coming in for Mito. I think Mito will be able to clear this up. Those Falconets got really some good shots on Cassidus early on, and I think Dictator should have probably waited for the Falconets to die before moving Cassidus in, because
the Castador match just wasn't there in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't just there in the end when it really needed. Those Mamelukes are so strong, they're still alive.
Mamelukes definitely a great unit, but the problem is that Mamelukes by themselves don't quite do it right. You need a little bit of you need something else there that can take advantage of that huge amount of hit points. That was still very well played by Conqueror. I think he gave a significant challenge for Mito, who, you know, being the winner of the last autumn tournament, is in some sense the best player in the world right now.
Yeah,
performed pretty admirably there.
Well, good game from both the players actually, not just Conqueror, even from Mito. That was some real good holding back there in the base, when Dictator was simply having more than like double the army.
Okay, I see Zeely, thanks for letting me know. I have to turn myself up just a little, so I can turn it up myself through my own microphone. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
But thanks for letting me know.
Okay.
and also change the score if you haven't.
I did.
Specific rules the standard ESOC style. So Mitoe picks first, and then Conqueror responds.
Yeah.
Picking French, interesting. Malaysia is. I'm trying to remember what this map is. I never play well on this map. I'm not gonna say it's a bad map. I don't know how to play it.
Yeah, in the past few days, I mean, even before the tournament was announced, Mitoe was seen practicing a lot of France on water maps. He likes to boom with France on water. I don't know how to put that, but yeah, that's the gist of it. So he had some pretty good water build for France, and just
Really interesting.
and update coming in from the second semifinals right now. Prince of Kabul versus Lord Raphael. Lord Raphael has won the first game and score is 1-0 in favor of Lord Raphael.
But yeah, looks like Lord Raphael against Prince. Okay, so yeah, Lord Raphael, of course, is one of the best players in the world as well.
Yeah, I think all the semifinalists are like the top most supremacy players you can see today.
Definitely true. So it looks like Conqueror is responding with India into this matchup.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice, but traditionally speaking, if France manages to get to H3, then um, it simply outscales India. I mean, India simply doesn't have answer to Falconets in H2, and it's very difficult as India to follow up France to H3 very early on. So by like 9th or 10th minute, if France can do some damage to India, then that's pretty much game. While when you're playing as India, you have to probably do early damage, like at the 6th or 7th minute, and stop France from aging up. So let's see how these players play out.
India, if they want to play a game at an H3, they definitely have that opportunity. They have some awkward situations with their units where, for example, they don't have really a good artillery unit. But some of their H3 units, like the Arumi and even the Howdah, can make for some very interesting gameplay for them, and their units do scale fairly well.
Yeah, yeah, but what I meant was like France can age up at 7 or 7:30, while India cannot follow them up at the same time. And if India tries to follow up to H3, then France can simply come with Falconets, and that is difficult for India to handle.
Big problems with India is that if you try to play the game at an H2, it does get a little hard to follow up to H3. So if France is able to sustain themselves in early game and not die to India's C point masses, then they come out in a very good position in H3.
Yeah. So
Where we can see isn't going to be going. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Going to be going for a very aggressive play. You can see he started off with the trading post in H1. You're seeing like a sort of 10-10 out of him.
I don't think we're seeing a 10 out of 10 because he still has 7 villages on wood. So I'm sure he's going to get a wood and he's going to build a house and make more villages.
He's going to be going for an economic play. Still may be an Acro Fort. We'll have to see what he ends up opting for. But yeah, we're not seeing a 10-10. Obviously, we just saw him make a house.
Yeah.
Good start for Conqueror getting this 90 wood treasure. One of the best treasures in the game in general, but especially for India, who really likes to get a lot of wood, especially early on.
Yeah, definitely. This is a good treasure.
not getting the same treasures, not the same luck anyway. He is getting this 90 food treasure, which is good, but not the 90 wood that the Conqueror is going to be getting here.
So 3 CDBs coming in for Mitoe as the first shipment, while Distributivism or the Wood Trickle coming in for the India player. And I would like to say that this is good that has got cows as well as the trading posts, because you even get XP from these cows. So he's going to have a lot of shipments ready when he's H2, and that means India basically has a lot of shipments to send in H2. You have 600 wood, 5 sepoys, 4 sowers, 300 export. So this is really going to help him send shipments after shipments after shipments.
It looks like actually Conqueror is going to be picking up another small wood treasure on the right side of the map here. So he's doing very well in the treasure game, doing very well in getting enough cows, or I guess water buffalo.
Yeah.
He's in a good position. His age up time is also pretty close to Mitoe's, and looks like he is going to go with that Carnimata wonder. We're going to be seeing an H3 play out of him.
Yeah, probably. Mitoe did get 90 food treasure, and he's going to end up with 16 villages. That's oh sorry, with 15 villages.
Wow. It looks like, does he have 2 CDB in queue right now? Let me see what we're going for here. He's only doing 14 villages right now.
Yeah, okay.
Units in queue can be misleading in terms of how it works with population. One thing I want to draw attention to is that Conqueror is sending that Good Faith Agreements card, which I don't even know what it does, so I need to go look it up.
It does like your consulate shipments are faster and cheaper.
So, cheaper, okay.
Not everything, but I think only military ones.
Okay, yeah, really interesting. I have heard that there are strategies that use this Good Faith Agreements card, but I'm not familiar with any of them. So I'm really interested to see what Conqueror does in this case.
I think he might be going for something like a consulate rush with musketeers and sepoys. Yeah, there goes the advanced consulate, and he's going to send musketeers, which will be very cheap because of the advanced, because of the Good Faith Agreement card.
He doesn't have any villagers forward, right? So what I'm thinking is he's going to make this consulate, then go into H3, and then do something with it. Well, actually, he's making a caravan, right?
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
The Indian stable. I can't pronounce the word. I know Umiyu was telling us in chat that we need to learn how to pronounce it, but sorry, I don't really know how to say it.
Caravanserai.
Anyway.
I also don't know. I just did something like that. Okay, so a stable going down for India, and looks like Mitoe is going to go for a naked FF 700 coin directly, skipping 4 CDBs as well, or rather sending it later. So that's interesting.
Yeah, going for the 700 coin first to get the age up, and then only after that getting out the 4 CDB. So, yeah, definitely trying to age up quickly, and this actually is a fast age up as well from him, not a slow age.
Yeah,
Just doing whatever he can to get into H3 as soon as possible, and he'll have a shipment once he hits. So it's not so bad to do the fast age. Conqueror side, we see no units yet. We see one Zambarak in queue. He's made a barracks. He's made right, and he sent 300 export and allied with the French. He's shipping. Okay, so he's shipping coin with the French, and then he's going to age up with that. and then send foreign logging, the second tier distributivism, for a more economic style fast fortress. I don't know what he's going to do after he goes to H3 with his consulate, if he switches off onto the British or something. But yeah, he's going to go into H3 right now. So a little bit slower on the age up, but still making it there in pretty good time. What we do see is Mitoe has started off with a few skirmishers. Just poked him a little bit. Potentially was able to get a little bit of damage done, but now that there's some Gurkha, it's going to be a little bit harder to do so. Although there are actually another 5 skirmishers coming in. Yes, we can pause.
Hello.
So Mitoe had an opportunity. Oh, yeah, what's up?
Okay, I was not able to hear you for quite some time, so I just restarted my microphone.
Sorry, yeah, I was wondering what happened there. But okay, we're good.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I
And
was
with
just
some skirmishers.
saying that the only reason why you were ally with French consulate is to send you resource crates, and that's exactly what dictator did, and he's aging up right now to almost age 3. Five.
Yeah, now is allied with the Ottomans.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of.
Yeah, I don't know why it left, so probably something to do with ES only.
Yeah, too bad. Hopefully, when DE comes out, we'll have some better netcode here.
Yep.
On that market, which is positioned a little bit far forward. I was hoping that he would be able to pick off a couple of villagers because that H3 Wonder was positioned a little awkwardly.
Yeah. So
Nevertheless,
Kaiser is asking whether Mitoe edged up with 500 food or not. And from what I'm saying, he edged up with Quartermaster, which is 400 wood, right?
almost certainly aged up with 400 wood to H through, and then to fast age up on H3.
Yep.
Yeah, so the H2 age up was the Quartermaster, Kaiser.
Yep.
Yeah, getting a few good picks off here. One issue with India is that because they get all their units in H2, all 4 types, they have to upgrade them all up to veteran in H3. Whereas Skirm Goon doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit of work done here by Conqueror. I don't think it's going to be enough, but he did look like when he had those Soar on the skirmishers, it looked like for a moment that he was going to be able to break through there.
Yeah, but some really good
If they were in H2.
some really good micro from Mitoe there.
We could see happen is that what Conqueror just had to do for the past couple of minutes was upgrade all of his units up to disciplined. And so he's been spending a lot of resources on that, whereas Mitoe has been able to just start making Storm Boom right from the start.
Yeah. What do you think India should do right now? I mean, at this point.
It is a little tricky. He has a good economy; it's equal. And then with that, the Karnimata, he gets a little bit ahead. It looks like is he switching over to the British consulate at any moment now. I think that he wants to get up a good skirmisher mass, a good Zembrek mess, then try to ship a Rumi and try to punch through. Mitoe is in a pretty secure position. He's making a second town center. He's going to try to pull in a lead economically like that. But I don't think the Conqueror is in a bad position necessarily. I think that he give units. He just needs to be able to take some map control back.
Okay.
The skirmisher fight going on here. These fights aren't that interesting because they're just kind of the units shooting each other until the one with more units wins, or they stop fighting. The problem with these skirm goon fights is that or so are around. The only thing that matters is how many skirmishers you have, and
Okay.
maybe how well you can split the fire. But
I think Mito has like 30 skirmishers and Conqueror has 24 skirmishers and 8 Zamburuks, while Mito has 7 dragoons. Conqueror,
in this,
Con Conqueror did ship 7 Urumi, so he should be able to take this fight because those Urumis are just so good versus infantry.
Mito has to be careful of now is to make sure that he has enough dragoons to be able to stop the Arumi when they come in. And he's making cuirassier, which is also fine. I think I have to look up the Arumi again. So yeah, okay. So as long as he has enough cavalry available to him, he'll be in an okay shape. He just has to make sure he has enough to stop to not get caught out by the Arumi.
Yeah, exactly.
He kind of knows these timings here. You can see he pulled back around the time that the Arumi come out, even though he doesn't have a guarantee that they're out because he hasn't seen them. I think he's very strong with the timings, and he knows around the time that they're expected to come out, and when it's safe to fight, and when it's safe, it's better to pull back.
Yeah, I think he has probably expected that Urumis are out by now, and that's why he shipped 3 gendarmes as well as added 4 gendarmes because they are like hand cavalry is very good against Urumis. So I think that's the reason why, and also because that dictator has a lot of Gurkhamas.
Currently stands, we've got another 5 queers in production, and not a lot of Zamburaks that are out right now. So I think that Mito does have a chance here once those 5 queers pop, to catch Conqueror off guard.
Yeah, I think he's probably waiting for that shipment to move in. But
Looks like
nine
that. I think Conqueror, yeah,
nine,
just
nine
shipped on the
Zamburuks
nine.
being shipped for India though.
Who kind of knows the timings here. He knows that if Mito's pulling back, it's not to make more skirmishers. He's making more cuirassier, and now it's time to ship the 9 Zamburaks to not get caught out himself.
Yep. 2 villages being done for Mito. Uh, they might get caught here. Those villages.
Careful here. He's getting pushed back. It doesn't have his units here to defend it, but he's going to be trying to go for this catch on the left. And there's a good number of Solar. These cuirassiers are in great position right now.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, I think it was just that they were surrounded by a lot of trees, which really messes up with the pathing. So I don't think they were in a great position, and might have lost this fight and probably the game as well.
His cuirassier were just jammed right onto the Zamburak and would have gone through all of those, and then would just be a bunch of queers against nothing, against a bunch of Gurkha basically. But then
Yeah.
the Zams pulled back, and it kind of looked like a disaster for Mito instead. Falcon that's coming out, but a little bit too late here. So yeah, Mito calls GG.
1-1, and looks like we will have a third game in the semifinals. Dictator versus Mito. Game number 2 goes to Dictator, and now the series is tied at 1-1. Looks like Prince of Kabul and Lord Raphael have not finished their second game yet, or probably they have finished and are in game number 3 right now. So we will update you on the result as soon as we have any news. So I think it's going to be Mendocino right now because Manchek and Grand Chaco were uh, featured by both these players.
We'll pick Mendocino. Now Conqueror is to pick for the last game, so Mito has a bit of an advantage going into game three just off of that.
Yeah.
Conqueror played very well in this last game, and I think that he does have potential to take this series and go to the finals. So if he were to make it to the finals and then potentially even win that, a weekend where he wins 2 tournaments in one would be really nice.
I'll be right back. I just have to go to washroom, so be back in a minute.
Right. So it looks like Conqueror went over to the British, which is one of the best civilizations, I think. And I think Mito knows that too, and switched to the British as well for the mirror. I've had a lot of difficulty myself just dealing with British, especially on EP, and I think that picking British into them is a good decision in general. Waiting for Savory Beef to come back, and then we'll be going into Game 3 of the semifinals between Mito and Conqueror999.
Okay. So game number 3 between Mitoe and Conqueror999 on ESOC Medicino, and it looks like it's going to be a British mirror here. Oh, it's like probably the first British mirror in the tourney so far, and you can see British mirror very often because like they're the most played civilizations. Hello.
Yeah, easily one of the strongest civilizations on EP, and in the base game really. And so it's pretty common to see British mirrors around. Both players are pretty confident in their British. I think Mito picked the mirror because I think he thinks he can win it, and I think the British mirror does have a different style of gameplay. Yeah, with civilization.
So looks like,
Start off,
sorry.
so it looks like to start off, Conqueror is picking up this 90 food treasure with the wolves. Mito, meanwhile, got this 80 food treasure with the outlaws, which is favoring Conqueror a little bit. The outlaws are tough to kill, and so you can see Mito's losing half of the explorer health just fighting this outlaw right here.
Okay.
Pretty good for Conqueror, but nothing too substantial just yet.
All right. I do like this though from Dictator living 900 to sorry 100 coin to gather later, since you really don't require that in each one.
There's no need at the moment to gather it. Looks like Mito that extra 100 coin from his base. But nothing too big right now. He is going to be going for this 135 experience treasure down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And he has to be very careful about this because on explored hit points, but also Dictator is coming in right now.
Yeah, I think Mito will be able to take it before Dictator reaches there, and he's probably not even scouted that. So
Was a little risky there, but it looks like he managed to do it with
yeah,
just 30 hit points left on his explorer too.
yeah, and Dictator really needs to start herding his herds because on this 3 or 4 deers, I don't think you can age up actually. So he might be able to age up, but he should definitely start herding now.
He'll be able to age up okay, but he is
Yeah,
going to need to start hurting these things in.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks like he knows that he'll be getting to that 800 food in just a moment, and it looks like he just did. All those villagers off to wood now. Pretty typical for British Mirror. So in the British Mirror, you have to be very careful not to make too many manners early on. The main reason is because your opponent can play it very aggressively, sometimes even sending 6 muskets in age 1, or sorry, as their first shipment in age 2. Making too many manners, then you can just die outright.
yep.
Minor
So,
divergence in builds right now.
sorry?
Conqueror started off with this. Conqueror made this market over here, whereas Mito has opted for 2 manners, one in the middle of the map, one a little bit off to the side. He only
Yeah,
has one other man.
we might see some kind of proxy military building from Dictator here. Uh, Maybe a stable or a barracks. I'm not sure. That we will see when they reach H2. Quickly
He's
taking,
going to be doing
yeah, quickly taking a
something
look
in
at
the
the
game.
deck here right now. Pretty standard British deck for both the players, except Mito has 700 food in his deck, something which Dictator doesn't have.
Yeah, that's the main point of divergence here. Their H3s are a little bit different, but the game probably won't even get up to H3. 100 wood, or 700 food, sorry. That makes the big difference.
And both the players edged up with an outpost wagon and 200 coin. Yeah, 200 coin. Yeah, while Mito is going for a standard Musketeer rush probably. Dictator is going for some kind of proxy stable start and some backherding for Dictator here, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, very interesting. So the stable is a little slow because he only had one villager to make it.
Yeah,
But it is still well positioned. He is sending those 5 villagers first, and I know that this build does work. Villagers first and still get a full batch of cab out.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what he's going for here.
yeah. I think he probably needs more on coin though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a little bit long going, but it's enough to get a full batch out.
yeah.
He just needs one more Hussar there.
The
This,
uh, the problem with this build is probably that Mito is going to get its second shipment faster because he will be able to build manors and the second barracks. And from that XP, 600 would be slightly faster compared to Dictator. So, uh,
yeah, and also that porcupine treasure for 135 XP. So his second shipment is out. Good reaction there from Mito. He didn't lose a single villager in that, even though it looked pretty dangerous.
and 500,
Hussars now.
five villages are out for Mito. So, Mito is almost a shipment ahead, I think, compared to Dictator. And he did lose one villager at the town center, though.
Just one there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit earlier, but it's okay.
But these musketeers have been forced back, and a lot of villages have been idled in town center. Like almost 10 to 15 villages were idled in the town center for such a long time.
In terms of what Dictator got out for the second batch, I think is that 3 Hussars? Yeah.
Yeah,
So he needs to start shipping, which he's doing. He's shipping that 700 wood to bring his economy back up. Both players even economies after all of this, and you can see Dictator at home. He's making these 2 barracks now, transitioning into a bit more of a standard sort of game.
yeah. Six musketeers are out for Mito there, so he really has to push Dictator into his base because you just send a military shipment while your opponent might be sending a 4 villager or 600 wood, and that might put you on back foot in the long term if you do not make effective use of six musketeers that you have sent.
Definitely, yeah. Looks like yeah, Conqueror was able to catch out a couple of musketeers there that were reinforcing, which is good for him.
Yeah, I think I just cleared the entire musketeer batch there with the hussars here. So probably those six musketeers are just dead.
Yeah, once you have enough musketeers, like maybe 7 or 6, it doesn't become cost efficient to go fight those Hussars and do it, even if you can win the fight. So I'm not surprised that Conqueror decided to just pull back there and try to raid at a different point in time. Some nice picks off there with these Hussars, or against the Hussars just now. He got 2 Hussars without losing a single musketeer in that last engagement, or maybe just lost one. These Hussars are now having a bit of a harder time getting themselves to pay off. Once Mito runs out of hunts in base, they might be able to put down some more pressure, but at least for the moment, they're not going to be doing too much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, Mito looked like he took a bad engagement just there with the 6 Longbow coming out and the Minutemen. Got caught out with fewer musketeers than he really wanted to. Yeah, and saying in chat he might have just thrown the game. And even accidentally shooting a bear there.
I don't think that why would you think that Mito has thrown this game? I think Mito is in a very good position. Oh, you mean Dictator has thrown the game?
I noticed that he thinks he might have thrown the game there.
Yeah.
He took a bad engagement just there. He's behind the military. I think he's in an okay position still, but he could have been in a much better position if he hadn't taken that engagement in Dictator's base.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit confused. What does Mito think? Whether he threw the game or Dictator threw the game by sending six
He thinks he
long.
threw it.
Sorry?
No, Mito thinks that he threw the game by taking a bad engagement.
Okay, but I mean, he literally forced Dictator to call Minutemen and six Longwomen, which is probably a good sign in my opinion. And he still has uh, enough musketeers to defend. I don't see why I think he threw that game. Also, in terms of
Position is still pretty good.
also in terms of economy, his like six villages ahead of Dictator.
I don't think he understands quite how big his economic lead is right now. Um, because, well, yeah, he just got up, and so he is a little bit ahead in the economy, although Dictator is going to be pulling that gap a little bit closer now with a couple more houses going up.
Yeah.
Coming out to be pretty much even right now. Mito's main problem is that he hasn't made any units in the last, so he's still standing at 27, 27 musketeers. Another batch of 10 are going to be coming out for him, probably.
I think
Just
the
not had.
I think why Mito didn't make any units is because that he's actually aging up right now. He is
I didn't see that. Yeah.
he's like 30% into age 3. Yeah, I think he meant that Dictator threw the game by shipping six Longbowmen because that gave Mito enough time to age up.
We'll have to see. I think Dictator's army has gotten very scary right now, and Mito, by aging up, he doesn't have a lot of units right now. He just made a bunch more musketeers, but still potential here for Dictator to come out before Mito's able to make use of that age up. Mito's still only 70% of the way there, and he
Yeah.
needs to keep at least one barracks alive somewhere, not necessarily these two, but somewhere, so that he can get up to that veteran musketeer. And as well on the right side of the map, I think just one villager, or sorry, two villagers are going to die. Actually, very low in hit points, but actually pretty good for Dictator to save those. So Mito does have an economic disadvantage now, 7 villagers down. So he's going to have to make some pretty good use of that age up.
Yeah, definitely because
But
he's losing a few villages here as well at the bottom of the map, and his villages are idled a lot. So uh, I think Mito has to get like the veteran upgrade very fast, and then shape the cannons to defend this. Otherwise, Stater is probably going to win the fight since he has musketeer card as well, while Mito doesn't.
oh yeah, without the musketeer card, it could be a little hard for Mito. He is getting veteran upgrade, but it's only 25% of the way done. He has to time this fight very carefully, such
Yeah.
that he needs to engage like uh, the fight is committed to, but then he upgrades right as that happens. Uh, Basically, so that Dictator can't retreat, um, but he doesn't lose too many units before then. And this is probably a good time actually. So the veteran upgrade just comes in, and now the fight is fully engaged. Right now, and he has to be careful not to lose them to those hussars. He's pulling some musketeers back, good position there, but the hussars may still break through.
Yeah, I think is
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's fine. And Mito did lose like a lot of villages. I think he lost like 5 or 6 villages, because Mito's economic population is right now very less compared to. Oh, the Dictator has decided to call this a game.
Yeah, Conqueror played very well. It looked like he had an opportunity there. I think Mito was definitely pretty afraid of that last engagement. But yeah, Mito was able to pull it back with upgrade and actually protecting those falconets pretty well.
Yeah. So pretty good game actually, or I mean a very standard British mirror because like musketeer fights and whoever has more mass or whoever gets a slightly better micro just wins, and that's what exactly happened. Mito's experience and probably slightly better micro comes into play, and also he managed to sneak in an age up, so that definitely count for something because he had falconets available, and that changed the course of the game, I would say. So 2-1 for Mito, and Mito has proceeded to ESOC Weekend Tours Challenge #1 finals. Uh, we have to wait on the